Do you conclude in your conclusion that Jay-Z is innocent of these particular charges?
I believe whoever this 13-year-old girl is, it is a decoy. Jay-Z is absolutely guilty of a lot of things. It's a fact that Jay-Z and Sean Combs, and I have the proof for it, collaborated in the assassination of Nipsey Hussle. It's a fact that Jay-Z is responsible for many sacrifices. Tory Lanez, you have Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez was indicted on December 5th. Tory Lanez refused to sign the Roc Nation, then that happened to him. Now you could go backwards to Chris Brown. Chris Brown, when that happened to him, when that whole case, that he still pretty much, his career was stunted because of that. Rihanna, a Roc Nation artist. So yes, I do believe that whoever this 13-year-old, I do believe that it is a decoy to take us away from the attention of Charlene Latham.
Hello, everybody. We got No Rep in the house one more again. The last video we did got some pretty good attention to it, and I think he made some very, very, very valid points. But since then, this Jay-Z scandal has been going crazy, and I call it a scandal for a reason, because it's a whole lot of just mess involved in it. You know what I'm saying? So he has like really taken a deep dive into it at his recent point, but he's been following everything all the way up until this point. He got a whole lot to say about it. So I'm gonna bring him in and let him explain everything that's going on. And if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe, and check it out. Everybody, No Rep. What's happening, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Corey? How you been, brother?
I'm doing good, man. So if you could help us out and dig into like give us a really, really deep dive into this Jay-Z thing and this little girl accusing him of and well, not little girl, I guess she grown now, and then how that ties into the attorney and all this mess going, surrounding this whole thing.
Yeah, yes, sir. I mean, the point that we're missing as, the people that's just watching, this movie happening before our eyes is that all of these things are tied together. You know what I mean? Once you really get into details of just all of it, from the elections, from, the Epstein, the Jay-Z, the Diddy's, it's like all of these things, they are all tied together. You know what I mean? It's just, being able to use your esoteric eyes to actually see what's going on and not what they're telling you that's happening, but being able, because the system loves to, make you look left while they going right. You know what I'm saying? So they'll place these little things in front of us to make everybody pay attention to this while what you need to be watching is, on this side. But before I get into that, from the last video when we ended it, I just want to touch on something real quick, if you don't mind. I just want to touch on the solution aspect of all of these things that we're talking about. I'm someone that does definitely check out the comments to see how the audience is gauging the conversation. Two things that I noticed in the comments is, one is the fear factor of some of these things. A lot of people, it seemed like to me that, the conversations that we have, and they feel like they have to fear something. Like there's no fear here. Like I'm not here to fear among nobody. Like I'm not into the intellectual porn. Like it's just not my thing. At the end of the day, the first thing that I want people to understand is just breathe. You're here. I'm just someone that's, that God is using to bring these things forth. You understand? But I'm not, I didn't make these things start happening. These things been happening, but you're here, you're alive, you're breathing, life goes on. You know what I'm saying? This is what's been going on in our lives, and it's been here. It didn't just start happening now that we're speaking on it. You know what I'm saying? And you're still alive. So there's no reason to fear any of the things that we're talking about. Second, we have been so dumbed down as a people, not only mentally, but spiritually, that the actual tangible solution, I don't believe that we have the strength or the will enough of us have the strength or the will to actually do it. So that's why I don't really speak about those things. So the only solution that we're left with is separation. But
Let me ask you this real quick, and I hate to cut in because you're so good, but I do want to cover. I think I know what a good solution would be, and I agree with you. I don't think that most people would be willing to act that out. You know what I'm saying? To see it through. But in your mind, what is the solution? I'm just really curious about that.
so pretty much there is a solution. And the thing is with the actual tangible solution that um, we have to first know what the actual problem is first, have a full understanding of what the problem is completely. So then now when the solution is presented to you, it doesn't seem so, so out of grasp, so difficult to attain. So yeah, I'd rather us first, let's elaborate more and get a full, complete understanding of the problem, and then we can get to the tangible solution. Now with this Jay-Z thing that's happening, like I said before, all of these things is connected. When you're talking Jay-Z, when you're talking Diddy, when you're talking the elections, when you're talking, just everything that's been happening, this past year, the whole 2024, all of these things is connected, and it's just about us being able to zone in and focus on what's actually happening, and not what they're telling us is happening. So now we got this 13-year-old lawsuit. I haven't really got into it yet, but based off of what I'm hearing, I could already tell it's a hoax. It's pretty, because Jay-Z's guilty of a lot of things. I mean, and the thing is with Jay-Z, a lot of the things that he's done, he hasn't hid them. We just haven't been paying attention. So Jay-Z's one of those people that Jay-Z's one of those people that are very interesting to me, because he is more disciplined than Diddy. I feel like Diddy is, all out with his filth, where Jay-Z is more calculated, he's more disciplined. But at the same time, if you're paying attention with an esoteric eye, you can understand and see exactly what he's doing. And that's one of the things too that I feel like we need to understand in the beginning, when we're speaking about these things. All of these things, you're not going to be able to understand them if you're not watching with an esoteric eye. Now, esoteric simply just means understanding esoterically that they're going to give you what they want you to know, and then there's the esoteric understanding of what's actually happening. You know what I mean? So if a lot of these things are of the occult, so if you're just looking at these things with a physical eye, you're not going to understand what's happening, because you're looking at them physically and not esoterically, which is more spiritually. Um, like for instance, the word, I don't want to say the full word, but the P word. You know what I mean? That word to someone like me and you, like when you say someone like Jay-Z, he slept with a 13-year-old, he's a P word. When to someone like me and you, yes, if any grown person does that to a child, that's exactly what you are, and you deserve, maximum punishment. But esoterically, to the occult, they don't see it as the P word. You know what I'm saying? You understand? They see it as something that they do for power, meaning power from the dark side. You know what I'm saying? Because when you involved in the occult, everything is inverted because of the God that you're serving. Now, the God that they serve, whatever the God that we serve says is good, they do the opposite. So if my God says that children are number one in the kingdom of heaven, so their God will tell them, in order for them to hurt my God, hurt what, my God loves the most. So if the God in heaven loves children the most, then their God is going to say, well, hurt that thing so they can hurt, because it's all war. It's war between my God, our God, and they God. So it's just inverted. So they do what they do What is good, they do the opposite. What is bad, then they do the opposite. That's all it is. So when they hurting a child, it's just they're looking to gain power from the dark side. That's all it is. So when we're sitting here and we're just, oh, he's a P word, he's a P word, you're kind of just, you're taking we're taking the power away from the conversation. And that's when it gets lost. Like, yes, of course, he is a P word. But like I said, having a full, complete understanding of what he's actually doing later on will give you the strength to have a better understanding of the solution. You know what I mean? It's all about the conversations and how we have these conversations that's going to allow us to have the complete understanding of the conversation. Jay-Z with this 13-year-old thing. Now, the interesting thing about that is I don't believe that this 13-year-old girl that they're speaking of, I don't believe that that's a real thing because I feel like they're faking left for an actual case of a woman called Charlene Latham. I know you're familiar with this lady that she's actually the woman from the Epstein, when back in 2020, the Epstein case where everybody was talking about the flight log and all of those things when Epstein got arrested. She's actually, she was one of the people who attended one of the Epstein parties and the New York City mansion and Epstein's New York City mansion that got raided. She's actually one of the people who attended one of those parties, and she's the one that brought that case out into the world. That case happened because of her. It was her against a whole bunch of people, but the main three people that she was accusing in the case of, personally causing her harm was Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Sean Carter. Right? When you go into that case, she mentions how I would like to read some of that case if that's okay with you, but if not, it's fine. But she mentions in the affidavit how Jeffrey Epstein tried to purchase her from her parents. Her parents are also involved in the case, are also one of the plaintiffs in the case. How they tried to purchase her, and when the purchase didn't go through, Epstein and Weinstein, they got upset because of it, and they started harassing her, kidnapping her, and one of the parties specifically, she mentioned that Sean Carter, which I believe is defendant number two in the case, or defendant number three, Sean Carter, personally, him and Jeffrey Epstein, them two, she mentions on page 4, she mentions that them two specifically brutally, and them two specifically were involved in um, trafficking her, harassing her, gang stalking her, and just causing things to happen in her life, just causing havoc in her life for a long period of time, like all the way up to her being grown. Like this started when she was, like I think 12 or 13, and it went on for like 20 years. You understand? So this ain't like it's not just like that case with Epstein. I feel like we was all talking about it, but nobody actually went. Well, I don't know if it's still available online, but nobody actually went to actually read the court files. Like when you actually read the court files, it's like right there. Or you know what I mean? And it's specifically named Jay-Z for doing things to her. But you don't even need that case. You have Foxy Brown when she was 15. People speak about that all the time. She was 15 when go ahead.
But I want to ask you about the Foxy thing. I don't think did she deny, and I'm not saying it's true what she's saying, but I'm just asking you,
Hmm.
did she deny those accusations that he was messing with her? I think she never admitted, or what did she say about that?
From what I hear, first she denied it,
Hmm.
and then she did it. You know what I'm saying? And that happens a lot when someone they'll deny something because for delusions of grandeur, thinking trying to get back into the industry. But once somebody realizes that they're not, then you'll get a more, honest they'll be more honest about the situation. So yes, she did deny it at first, but from what I'm hearing now, she's no longer denying it. And even if she denied it or not, the dates, the dates, you understand, will speak for themselves. But at the end of the day, okay, fine. If you don't want to look at that, then all right, never mind. Never mind the Foxy thing, because at the end of the day, these things happen in our community more than it doesn't. You got, you got the young hustler that pulls up to the high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things been happening forever. You understand? So, all right, cool. If somebody feels like that's not something to really get into, okay, cool. We can do a deep dive into Jay-Z. Now, speaking esoterically again, there is a lot of things that has happened on Jay-Z's birthday. A lot of rituals, a lot of sacrifices that has happened on his birthday. And later on, I could understand the whole birthday ritual and where it comes from, where he doesn't hide that neither. But first thing we got to understand, there was a moment in Jay-Z's life where he presented to us what secret society that he was tied to when he wore the Aleister Crowley hoodie, "Do As Thou Will." You know what I mean? Jay-Z is part of the Lima Society. You know what I'm saying? So he follows that doctrine. You know what I'm saying? So when that's Aleister Crowley, that's Anton LaVey. When you read Anton LaVey's the Satanic Bible, Anton LaVey is a student of Aleister Crowley. So in the book of the Satanic Bible, it mentions that the best times for a witch to do, or a warlock to do their rituals, is on their birthday. You understand? Which goes back thousands of years back to Nimrod. Like, the whole birthday thing, we're not supposed to celebrate our birthday. That's actually something that comes from the occult. You know what I'm saying? But we don't need to get into that. But the whole birthday ritual, it says in the Satanic Bible that Anton LaVey wrote, that the best times for you to do your rituals is on the witch or the warlock's birthday. So let's get into it. When is Jay-Z's birthday? We actually kind of alluded to this on the last video in the beginning when I was speaking about the December 4th thing, right? And why that date just stuck out to me. Jay-Z was born December 4th. And side note, this is another thing. Sean Combs was born a month before Jay-Z. Sean Combs was born November 4th, 1969. Jay-Z is born December 4th, 1969. Not only that, both their names are initialed SC. SC, November 4th, 1969. Then you got Jay-Z, Sean Carter, SC, December 4th, 1969. That's just a side note, just to throw in there, when we talking about the computer. But let's go into the December 4th aspect of it, right? First person you have is Beanie Siegel, right? A Jay-Z's artist. State Property, whatever. He was one of Jay-Z's closest artists. The reason why Jay-Z is Beanie Siegel is important is I interviewed Beanie Siegel, where we spoke about where he, at the time when I interviewed him, he was actually, this is post Rockefeller, when Rockefeller was pretty much broken up and Beanie Siegel had got out of prison, and he was actually beefing with Jay. He was putting out records, putting out diss songs on Jay. I had brought him out to do a show for me, right? And after the show, I interviewed him where in the interview he's quoting some of his lyrics and speaking on why the beef is going on and whatever. Right after that interview, a few months after I interviewed him, he ends up getting shot. He actually almost died. And this thing was big. When he was dissing Jay, it was big. And it's like he was the closest artist to Jay. So, a lot of people was talking about it. Jay-Z actually did mention something about it while it was happening. And then months later, it died down. Beanie Siegel ends up getting shot on December 4th. So you could say, okay, whatever, that's just one date. All right, boom. Let's go back. Let's go down to another one of his artists, Casanova. Casanova, was signed to Rock Nation. Right now, he's locked up. I think he got 15 or 20 years or whatever he has. Casanova turned him. He actually got indicted on December 4th. He actually tweeted. He actually tweeted about it a year later. I think and some of them, I feel like Beanie Siegel knows that Jay-Z shot him, but he's scared to speak on it. Certain interviews that I've seen him do, I could kind of tell he knows that it came from Jay. Even when you read the police report, it's like he had nothing. It's something that just happened randomly. It was a fight going on that he had nothing to do with, but he ended up getting shot in his lungs. Part of his lungs ended up collapsing where he lost his voice, which is kind of deep when you look at it. You was talking about Jay, now you don't got your voice no more. But when he speaks on these things now, I kind of feel like he knows it came from Jay. But then Casanova, he got indicted on December 4th, right? He tweeted a year later after him being in prison. He tweeted on it on December 4th, and in his tweet, he says, "Don't let this go over your head." That subliminally seems to me he was alluding to something, but who knows? But that's another one of his artists also that life's pretty much not over, but damn near. You got 15 to 20 years, and I believe Casanova is, you ain't coming home till you about 50 or something. Your rap career is over. That happened on December 4th. That's another one. Then we can go back even further. Pimp C. The Pimp C one is very, very, very interesting. I believe the beginning of this year or the end of last year, Pimp C's cousin had finally came out and said, no, Pimp C didn't die from whatever they said. I think they said he died from lean overdosing or something like that.
Buddy who killed my cousin. So C went to the restroom and Buddy poured something into his drink. He started drinking it and almost immediately started throwing up blood. I packed C bags after he passed, cover of the bed, and there was blood in the bed.
And his mother, Pimp C's mother, she was letting people know, like, hey, yo, that's not how my son died.
Most and foremost, C did not die of an illegal drug overdose.
Okay, we want to get that clear.
He did not.
Pimp C did not die of a drug overdose.
No.
Even Orlando Brown, you know what I'm saying? I don't, everybody can say what they want to say about Orlando Brown. Yeah, he does his little weird things, but he also spoke on it.
He never did lean around me. Listen, Chad only did, red wine, a cup of red wine like twice. Really? I do know that it didn't go down like, that didn't go down like that. Interesting. That didn't go down like that, bro.
Pimp C was found in his hotel room with blood everywhere. With candles with candles lit, you know what I'm saying? Where the scene looked like a ritual. It looked like a ritual scene, like he was in like a praying posing position, but there was blood all over the room. He actually died from apple seeds. I forgot the name. His cousin, when he spoke on it, his cousin said in the interview that one of his friends, which is now married to his wife, Pimp C's friend, who put the apple seeds in his drink, cyanide, yes, who put it in his drink, is now married to his wife, and his wife, where Pimp C died, he had a show, and she declined to travel with him to the show. But then the same man who put the cyanide in his drink, she's now married to him, which is interesting.
Yeah, what's the apple seed stuff? Apple seeds.
That's what was found in his drink. That's what was found in his autopsy. And his mother was saying this like for years, like, no, he had cyanide in his system. But nobody never wanted to speak about it. But till her death, till she died, she was talking about this over and over. Like, no, my son did not die from an overdose. His autopsy showed that he had cyanide in his system. Cyanide is apple seeds, right? Now, his cousin in the interview, I think the beginning of, I believe it's the end of last year. His Pimp C's cousin did an interview, which he admitted that he was also a 33rd degree Freemason.
The organization was the Masons. Yeah. Ooh. You're the only one that I know that has successfully exited the Masons that I know. I'm not. When I stepped away, I really had to pray and ask God to forgive me if there's anything that I was a part of, any oath and obligation I might have recited that was offensive to him. Yes.
Just like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is also a Freemason, but he follows the Thelema Society. He said in the interview that he said that he was no longer a Freemason. But once you're a Freemason, there's no you're no longer a Freemason. You're a Freemason, bro, forever. Like, they're not gonna let you just go, especially if you so high. Like, he said he was a 33rd degree. Who knows if he's telling the truth, but once you reach the 33rd degree Freemason, you're no longer a Freemason. It doesn't happen. They will kill you. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But he said that he was a Freemason, and he was pretty much exposing what really happened to his cousin, which is Pimp C. And he said one of Pimp C's partners that he used to tour with, I don't know if it's one of his partners or road managers or something, but as a joke, he put the cyanide in Pimp C's drink. But when he was explaining it, he explained it. That dude ended up getting killed too. I think his partner or something like that ended up getting killed. Something. But you should look into it. The interview is very interesting. But it backs up the claim of Pimp C that his mother was, screaming about, before her death, that he died of cyanide. It backs up that claim. You know what I'm saying? It also backs up the claim that there was blood everywhere, because pretty much he was poisoned. There was blood everywhere. Because once you ingest cyanide, blood will come out all over the place. Blood will come out your nose, out your mouth, out your ears. You know what I'm saying? So, there was blood everywhere in the scene where Pimp C died. Pimp C died also on December 4th. Now, what is the connection of Pimp C and Jay-Z? Everyone knows, it's no longer a rumor. Pimp C had a sex tape with Beyonce, right? They're both from Houston. And when you go back and you look at that, in those days, Pimp C was the hottest. Pimp C was the hottest out. Like, it wasn't no, like, Pimp C was that dude back then. And if you listen to the rumors, even, people like Jaguar, will says things. And quickly, side note, just want to get into the Jaguar thing. Jaguar is one of the people who, brought this out with the Jay-Z with the 13-year-old. She claims that Jay-Z raped her and put a gun to her head and told her to sing, and then her, right?
I need to say a day later they say she changed. I saw that video, and I'm not sure about that, but I think she said that, like, they re-edited the video or something. But I don't know. I don't know about all that. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, and listen. Yeah, I don't know neither. You feel me? I'm just going by words that's come out of her mouth. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute you saying, really what I was really getting into is, the rumors that she's put out about Beyonce, about her being a little fast, which, a lot of people have said these things, not only Jaguar, but, the whole 13-year-old thing, it got to me through Jag. And the problem that I have with Jag, which I really don't have no problem with her, but the issue that I see that some people have with Jag is, you can't do that. You can't come one day and say, Jay-Z, especially when these things is going on, because that's how the system works. The system will put people in place to, take the meat out of make something, just discredit something. Like, so once you come out and you say something like, oh, yo, Jay-Z put a gun to my head and told me to sing, and then, but then a day later you're saying, oh no, that's not what happened. Oh, they cut up They cut up what I said. It was artificial intelligence, was blase, but whatever it was, who knows? It doesn't matter because now what happens is there actually is a 13-year-old. Well, she's a grown woman now. There actually is a woman who's been in multiple court cases with Sean Carter involved for years now. Like, this is not brand new. This has been going on for like 20 years. She's been in and out of court with things that has had to do with Sean Carter, and nobody has spoken on it. So then now, when somebody like Jack, you come and you do that, and you possibly make something that is real discredited. So then now, when the real person, if the real person was to ever really try to come and give her story, she nobody's gonna listen now, because now you have this fake 13-year-old that they're using right now as a hoax that is gonna come out as fake. So then now everybody, the audience that's watching is gonna be like, yeah, they're trying to take the black man down. All of this black man crap that everybody, oh, they did it to Bill Cosby, they did it to Michael Jackson, they did it to blah, blah, blah. All of these people are in the occult. All of these people that we're speaking of are Freemasons, bro. These things that they do they don't do it in the way that we're thinking about it. They're doing it because the system the oath that they've taken, they have to do it. So then now, when we sit here as a people, because we're unwilling to separate ourselves because of tribe or whatever the heck, now these people who have done evil things, these things are discredited because someone like a Jag can come. And I'm not saying she's lying about everything. There's a lot of things that Jag has said that there's a lot of truth to it. You know what I'm saying? But then there's a lot of things that she's sprinkled her little, you know what I mean? And the thing is with me is like, the truth doesn't need no help. Absolutely none. When you actually know the truth, it needs no help. You don't need to sprinkle a little exaggeration. You don't need to do any of that. So then now, going back to Jay-Z, the Pimp C thing, everybody knows he had the sex tape with Beyonce, which there was a moment right before Pimp C was taken out. There was a moment where he was going at the industry hard, talking about, the gay rappers that's in the closet come out, talking about the people taking oaths. Pimp C, when he came out of jail, Pimp C came out of prison on one. He was going at the industry hard, and he was showing people the sex tape. You know what I mean? He was like, "Hey yo, look, hey yo, peep, I got you." Feel me? So we all know how the industry likes to put together these power couples. That couldn't come out. Something like Beyonce. Beyonce is too much of a. She's too much, she's too big and she's too much of a tool for the industry that something like that couldn't have came out, So, Pimp C kind of dealt his own hand with that. But at the end of the day, rest in peace to him. But he died on December 4th, which he's also tied to Jay-Z based off of the Beyonce angle and based off of he didn't like Jay-Z, and it was well known he didn't like Jay-Z. The biggest record, he didn't even want to do the Big Pimpin' record that him and Jay did together. Bun B had to convince him to do it because he ain't rock with Jay. And even till this day, that's Jay-Z's biggest record. Jay-Z doesn't even perform that record. He refuses to perform that record, but that's your biggest record and you won't perform it. You know what I mean? So there you go, that you got the Pimp C thing. And then you have the Charlene Latham. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So you got Beanie Siegel shot December 4th. Casanova indicted December 4th. Now you have Pimp C taken out December 4th, all Jay-Z's birthday. Now we get to Charlene Latham. Now, who is Charlene Latham? Who is Charlene Latham? This is the real woman this is the real woman in the Epstein case. Look up the Epstein case. Charlene Latham, Latham. Charlene Latham. Look up that case. This is the Epstein case. This is the Epstein flight log that everybody was talking about. This is the woman who made that case possible. When you read that case, page 4, she goes into what Sean Carter did to her. And she mentions the traffic, how she was trafficked by Sean Carter and Jeffrey Epstein. She mentions how, Epstein and Sean Carter brutally. Now, why Charlene Latham is interesting is because a whole nother case where 2017 and 2017 before now in the Epstein case, Charlene Latham, she speaks about how it wasn't just, these individuals who were responsible for doing what they did to her. She speaks of corporations being involved. She speaks of, gang stalking being involved, how her whole life was being stalked. She speaks of, it being like a whole industry, like a big enterprise of things happening in her life, right? So there's a case that happened before the Epstein case that she was also involved in, where she was suing her car insurance company, right? In 2017, before the Epstein case. She was in another case, 2017. I believe this one was in Minnesota, where she was in a car accident where she got hurt, and the insurance company was refusing to pay, finish paying for her medical bills and things like that. And what's interesting about that, the car accident that happened also happened on December 4th, right? You have December 4th, 2017, she gets in a car accident where she's hurt. In 2020, then you have the Epstein case where she's explaining that this is an ongoing thing. Sean Carter and Epstein got upset because there was a purchase made for her, where she was bought, and her parents refused to finish or go through with it or whatever happened. And because of that, she mentions them for over 10, 15, 20 years, just caused havoc in her life. You know what I mean? This is not far-fetched because you have Beyonce, her band, someone that was in her band and one of her background singers, she says the same thing, that Beyonce has been harassing her for years, gang stalking her, you know, just causing havoc in her life. Same thing. And Beyonce, she's also in the occult. You know what I mean? So, we have to start having the proper conversation for these things. I know a lot of these things are salacious and, people it's just something to talk about. It's something that's popular. It's something that's trending. But there's actually real people that are suffering, and it is actually, this is the end of an age. The celebrity age is over. You know what I mean? And we seen that with the elections, how Kamala Harris, she used a million celebrities to try to get her thing going, and it didn't work because the power that you understand, the power that the celebrities once had, they don't have it no more. It's the end of that age. That age is over with, and the celebrities, they know it, and the industry knows it. That's why they feeding us all of these. They're being fed to us because they no longer have a need for them.
When you mention about the young lady being stalked, and other people were saying that Beyonce was stalking them, in our minds, it's like that seems so petty, like just following somebody around, aggravating them, agitating them. But when you break down, what's that big word you use now? I remember big words about seeing it from how they see it, from their angle. That makes a whole lot of sense, because to us, that's just playing out, just whatever, just dumb. You know what I'm saying? But for them, it's a part of life. It's a part of their ritual, and that's how they see it. When they do these barbaric things to kids or whoever they're doing them to, they don't see it as a bad thing. They see it as, this is life and this is how it is. We might pick up a cup of water and just drink it. That's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. You know what I'm saying? But it just had to I had to, like you said, kind of rethink that so that we can attack it properly. You know, because if we see it from the angle that they doing this wrong and they doing this intentionally, it comes with a lot of anger. And when you get angry, you make bad and dumb decisions, and you're very ineffective. So we have to get into our spiritual, logical sense and really understand what we fighting, why we fighting it, and how to fight it. So I think that's a big part of what you. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? In part, and I just wanted to kind of throw that.
Taking our emotions out of it. You know what I'm saying? We have to take our emotions out of these things because, you know, I had to, and all of these things I had to learn how to do it because in the beginning of this journey for me, you know, once all of these things began to be exposed to me, yeah, you get angry, like, yo, what these things are really happening, and you want people, and because we get angry, we expect other people to get just as angry, and then you start to like, hey, why you not angry? You know what I'm saying?
You know what else? And I'm gonna tell you something else. Us getting angry is exactly what these people want us to do, because that's a part of their reward. Like we go to a basketball game, right? And our team score. Yeah. When we get angry, they win. Yeah, this is part of what they're looking for, anger. And they want control of us because if you look, one thing that we must all understand, if anybody can make you feel any emotion, you got to admit that they have some type of control over you, whether that's a good one, like what we consider good, a happy or sad. If I can make you feel that way, I can make you feel the opposite because you gave that control to me. And that is exactly what we are doing to the industry or to the machine, is we are giving them the control because we are giving them our emotions, and we got to take that out of it in order to, but good luck with that one.
And
Right?
that's and it is so, you just hit on it so perfect. That's the only power the computer has. It's that transfer of energy. It plays off your emotions. The whole way that this thing works out. That's why something like stalking, something like gang stalking is such an important role of how the computer works, is because what it's doing is it's mapping your brain waves. Our brain waves is like a computer. Your emotions and everything is tied to your brain wave. So then now when they can gang stalk you, and that computer can see how your mind is, how it's affecting your mind, how it's making you angry, what's making you sad. So then now it has complete control over your mind over a matter of time. Once they've been doing these things to you for 3, 4, 5, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, now they have your whole brainwave. Now the computer has your whole brainwave mapped out. It even knows you better than you know yourself. So then now it knows exactly what to do to trigger your emotions. Now once you give it that, it has that's where you get cloning. Now the computer can actually clone your mind. Like a lot of people speak about cloning. That's another term that we need to elaborate on, because that um technology is far advanced than what we've been programmed to understand. You have cloning of the mind, and the way that they do that is with the things that we're speaking about. Putting you in these simulated situations, stalking you. You know what I'm saying? Like messing with your bank account, doing all of these things. So then now now they're mapping out your emotions. They seeing what triggers you, what makes you angry, what makes you sad. And once they have that, they can actually clone your mind. You understand? So, and once they're able to clone your mind, they can literally control you like a remote control, and you literally have no more power over yourself. So that's why it's so important for us to take our emotions out of these conversations, because when we do that, we do it a disservice, and we're unable to fully comprehend what's happening before our eyes. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with us. This has been going on before we were here, and it's going to go on long after we are gone. You know what I'm saying? This is thousands of years in the making. And once we're able to understand that, then we can actually start learning and actually start being effective and fighting back against the system.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, do you conclude in your conclusion that Jay-Z is innocent of these particular charges, but then may be guilty of some more barbaric things, and this is just like a distraction to just kind of make it all look mysterious?
Yes, I believe whoever this 13-year old girl is, it is a decoy. Jay-Z is absolutely guilty of a lot of things, and I'm not. Listen, I could care less. That's why nobody sees my face. That's why nobody knows who I really am. I'm not looking for fame. I'm not looking for notoriety. It's a fact that Jay-Z and Sean Combs, and I have the proof for it, collaborated in the assassination of Nipsey Hussle. It's a fact that Jay-Z is responsible for many sacrifices. Tory Lanez, you have Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez was indicted on December 5th. You know what I mean? The day after, but same ritual. It doesn't matter. You have you have who was he set up by, which she now is saying, oh no, it didn't happen. What's the name? Megan, the horse girl, Megan the whatever, the Megan the Stallion. She's saying, oh no, it never happened. He never shot me. Go back, and who is she? She's a Rock Nation artist. Tory Lanez refused to sign the Rock Nation. Then that happened to him. Now you could go backwards. Go backwards to Chris Brown. Chris Brown, when that happened to him, when that whole case, that he still hasn't been able to, pretty much his career was stunted because of that. Who did that happen with? Rihanna, Rock Nation artist. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same. It's the same. Jay-Z is guilty of plenty of things that we don't need no help. We don't need, there's no, you don't need to, we don't need this 13-year-old girl. It doesn't matter. Like there's an actual 13-year-old girl that it happened, and he's guilty of a lot of heinous, of a lot, and it's extensive. You know what I'm saying? And maybe in a part three, I can prove how him and Diddy, literally, I can prove how him and Diddy are the ones who got Nipsey killed. Like, I have all of the proof. And because the thing is, they're not hiding it, because in cosmic law they cannot hide what they're doing. They have to. The devil. I mean, I know we don't like to speak about the devil, right? But it is an entity that the computer. So if you don't want to believe it in religious terms, then fine. Don't believe it in religious terms. But the devil is a character that exists within the computer system that we're talking about, and there is a belief system of that entity that is placed in the system that is followed. There's a belief system, there is doctrine that is followed in the system for that entity. You know what I'm saying? And in cosmic law, they have to show you what they're doing. So none of it is hidden. There's articles in certain books. There's dates. There's dates that makes it clear as day. So it just, the only thing that matters is where you're looking. You know what I'm saying? Never look at what they're showing you. You know what I mean? It's just a fake out to distract you. So yes, I do believe that whoever this 13-year-old girl is, and if I'm wrong, hey, I'll be the first to admit I'm wrong. But I do believe that it is a decoy to take us away from the attention of Charlene Latham.
Yeah, it does seem kind of odd, because at the end of the day, I guess first it was a P. Diddy lawsuit, then it turned into a P. Diddy and Jay-Z lawsuit, and they sent Jay-Z a letter first saying, hey, you better pay us or we're going to tell. And then Jay-Z came out and said, hey, do what you got to do. Y'all should be, making this a criminal thing, like I dare you, basically. And, it's just like, it's really odd. And I hate to be the one to even minutely make it seem like I'm defending Jay-Z, because I'm not. I think Jay-Z is a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? I think he's one of the worst people of all time, for multiple reasons. But that just don't take me away from the fact that this just don't smell right. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot surrounding it, man. And you got a 13-year-old kid at that time. She was 13, and all this time, as far as we know, because I don't know who it is or whatever, has not said anything. And I know that Jay-Z also has personal beef with this attorney that's doing this stuff. So and it also, I think this case actually plays to Jay-Z's benefit, because now this is what I believe. This is what I believe, not what I know. I think that his legal team is going to get rid of this real fast. Get it ripped up real fast. And after that, like you said earlier, anybody that come forth is going to look like, you're playing games like the last person, because now he get a chance to show that, boom. Because if you really look at it and think about it, Jay-Z also made a statement to the attorney and told him that this is basically, in so many words, this is my opportunity to discredit you. And that's exactly what I think he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So, and one thing that people must realize is that when you're dealing with a guy like Jay-Z, you got to play the game on a whole nother level, because he think different and he move different. And I'm just keeping it real. Like, you're not going to just slip him up like you won't slip the average person up. So you got to step on your game, do it the right way. Or, I got another, let's call this a conspiracy. Is Jay-Z behind all of this? We never know. But the best thing I can tell you to do is wake up before you go to sleep. Peace. We out of here.